I don't know about you guys, but I feel like meeting people is harder than ever. And it's weird because I feel like with social media, we should be more interconnected with everyone else than ever before. For instance, I feel like before social media was so normal, I would never have the opportunity to, for instance, have a conversation with people I went to high school with still. Because I would only be able to see them every once in a while when I went back home to school, or if I like sent them letters and shit and called their landline or whatever and like arranged some meetup. And now if I go on my phone, I can instantly see everything that everyone's doing because I feel like everyone's pretty active posting on social media. Like I got a good idea what people who like low key I've like only talked to once or twice in my life are doing. But at the same time, even though I know so many more people, I have so much more access to the information, I still feel like it's way harder to meet people in the first place. I'm a college student, and I feel like in that sense I'm lucky because I go to classes with people every day, and if I want to, like I can go out on the weekends. Like there's always something going on in my town, but people feel like so like closed off and guarded now. I'm not even saying that like I have a hard time making friends. Like I think I'm luckier than some people in that aspect, where making friends has never been super difficult for me. But I mean in the sense that like I feel like in the social media era, people just aren't as authentic as usual. Like I feel like nowadays you meet like archetypes of people that like are like modeled on characters or like caricatures of like the kind of people that they've seen online. So like an example of this, I feel like is I meet a lot of people that are like the stereotypical soft like gamer boy. I think like what is it now called? Like the performative man archetype, where it's like they're wearing like the button shirt and the cardigan, and they're listening to like Clairo or something. They're like really into bubble tea, and like low key have like no personality traits. Like they got like nothing they're interested in. They like you like try to talk to them about like football or something. They call it like sports ball, stuff like that. And it's weird because I feel like it's the same too for kind of like a lot of different people, like not just those guys, even though like I know that it's been like a trend in social media recently to like make fun of them. Like I feel like it's like a thing too for like a sort of stereotypical, like I almost call it like the kick streamer archetype, where it's like they like gamble and they like drink and they have like no like future goals, right? Like their goal is to be like Togi and like hit it big on Plinko or something, or like day trade and like retire. And it's like low key they have like the same problem where I feel like they don't have a unique personality. And I mean that's not even to say that like I have a unique personality or like like I don't have friends that I think have unique personalities, but I just think it's like because we're all so exposed now to these memes of like these archetypes of people that we look up to, more and more people like want to be that way. And so I think it makes it harder to meet people because everyone is a little inauthentic and they're a little bit guarded about their true intentions. I also think this corresponds with the fact that people nowadays see being genuine as kind of cringe. Like, no one wants to be, like, genuinely excited about something because that comes off as kind of, like, not cool. So it's like no one has, like, interest anymore. I feel like because if you have an interest that's not, like, mainstream enough, I guess, it kind of comes off in a bad way. And I think I've felt this for sure in my life with some of my interests where it's like I'm super genuinely excited about something, but I'm way too worried that if I ever share that in kind of a public setting, people are going to think it's like weird, you know? Because people seem to not have like unique interests anymore. And then even if they do have unique interest, they get like categorized as like a niche and like low key get made fun of that too for being like a niche guy, and then there's some like real stereotypical ones like people who are super into like Radiohead, like shit like that, like the male manipulator archetype. And then it's like it's not even a niche really. It's just sort of a recreation of the initial thing where people just fall into archetypes. But even beyond that, and I think maybe contradictory to this thing I said earlier, I actually also feel like people don't really go out like they used to. When I think of my childhood and like what I thought like college was going to be like, I was thinking like that music video of Last Friday Night by Katy Perry, where it's like a townhouse that's like wrecked and like everyone's like hammered and it's like the night of your life, you know? And I don't really know if that like happens anymore. Like I feel like culturally everyone is a little less social than they used to be. Like I think so many more people are either like socially anxious or like puritanical about drinking or like I don't know, just like socially awkward and like scared. I mean, maybe to the point that I was making, like, you know, afraid of showing their truth self in like a authentic way. And so I feel like a lot less people end up going out, or at the very least, a lot less people like, you know, want to really party and like really get lit. Like I think more people are kind of interested in like going out, you know, for a couple drinks, like making it like an Instagram aesthetic type thing, as opposed to like really trying to have like the night of their life. But I don't know. Maybe that's just the group of people I'm around, or like the college town I'm in, and it's not reflective of the world. But I do kind of think that people really do feel this way. It's not just me, because like I've talked to some of my friends and they've shared the same opinion. You know, they've been like, I really feel like it's getting harder and harder to meet people. I think another big component of it is that to some extent, being social now and meeting people has become somewhat of a commodity that big tech companies want to sell to us. So like the most obvious example is with dating apps. Dating apps to me are really the like pinnacle of meeting people as a commodity, right? Literally the activity that is the most fundamental, in my opinion, one of the most fundamental maybe to human existence, which is finding a partner and finding that connection, becomes something that, you know, Match Group tries to sell to you with like Hinge subscription so they can boost their stock price after IPO. And you know, Tinder obviously does the same thing, and you know, there's a bunch of apps for it, but like it's weird because like I was totally on the apps when I was first an undergraduate, just because I didn't really know even like how to meet people outside of them, because it is so ingrained in like in culture, because it's so normal to be on the apps and it's so not normal to go make genuine connections with people. And I feel like in general, just like friendship is the same way. Like Instagram is a commodification of friendship, right? Meta wants to sell you ads, um, you know, interacting with your friend shit on group chats and watching reels to like develop group opinions and commentary and stuff. And in the same sense, you know, I think this is kind of why Twitch streaming has gotten so big too, right? Because if you watch a streamer, or you know, you watch a YouTuber you really like, you can start to kind of build a connection with them. Like you feel like you're in a community, and you can join like a Discord with their fans, and you can quote unquote meet people. But to me, it's a form of connection that's somewhat lacking. You know, like I've had online friends for a lot of my life, of course, and like they're cool, but you know, like we can't go get drinks together. Like we can't go like hang out or go out hit the town. It's just not something that really happens. And I think that as more of the world becomes digital and becomes kind of attention commodified for tech companies and billionaires, a lot of people lose that authentic sense of connection, in exchange for these moderated spaces. And the last thing that I haven't touched on is like I feel like with AI, it's getting even worse, because with AI now, there are companies that are almost entirely designed around taking advantage of lonely people and selling them the solution of talking to a chatbot as a friend. One thing that really stood out to me was like the news stories about kids who, you know, were getting seriously like messed up mentally because the only people they talked to were chatbots. Like they didn't have friends outside of them, and because the chatbots would say kind of crazy things, eventually they would kind of go crazy too, right? And like they would hurt other people and maybe even, you know, God forbid, hurt themselves. And to me, it's all because of this root cause, that because friendship is such a mediated thing, and it's getting harder and harder, I think, to like meet people naturally outside of social media or some kind of moderated space, you know, maybe authentically, and have those authentic connections. People turn to things that can be really, really damaging to them. And unfortunately, there's actually like a really big profit incentive too for some of these companies that want to make a ton of money off loneliness. It's really a commodity.